So your body emits an energetic magnetic field. It is a torus field, so a magnetic sphere of energy that flows constantly around you at all times. It circulates through all of your chakras, so the seven chakras of the body we just saw, entering from the root chakra, rising up into the spine, and coming out of the crown chakra. When you are aligned and all your chakras are open, especially the heart chakra, when it is really strong and active, this torus field can expand of up to 9 meters wide, 9 meters in circumference around your body. But if your chakras are closed or contracted, you live from a contracted place, you live from a state of fear or negativity, this torus field becomes distorted and contracted. So, in the same way that your body is your antenna to be able to receive information, your body also emits an energy that others can perceive. Remember, everything is interconnected. We can feel everything, we can feel many things, not only with our physical senses, but also extrasensorial senses. But wait, there are in fact 6 additional chakras. Yes, I didn't reveal everything and anything I know to you. They represent the full state of consciousness that we discussed previously. Remember the small chart with the levels of consciousness. These chakras become activated once you transcend beyond the self and the physical body. But for the purpose of this course, now that's a lot of information to take in already, we will focus and remain on the seven chakra system of the body. So now moving to a different place where we will be able to see and understand the current global shift that are occurring, the awakening to new realities. Remember, as you change your beliefs, your understanding, your perception of the self, things are going to reflect on the outside world. So embracing the transformating changes in our world will be crucial to navigating these chaotic times. As we navigate once again through these unprecedented global shifts, humanity is awakening to new realities. Many illusions are falling, many old systems and belief systems that we built for ourselves collectively for hundreds, if not thousands of years, are all collapsing. But they are not collapsing for the end of time. They are just shifting and rearranging for betterness, for betterment. This transformation invites us to question established beliefs, established systems in society, and embrace our innate potential for conscious creation, leading to profound shifts in our understanding of purpose and existence. As the shift is increasing, so is the chaos. In other words, what the hell is going on right now? We are literally experiencing the era of revelations. The new earth is coming into existence as the outdated infrastructures and structures of control from the collapsing old world fade away. Fear and greed are being replaced with unity and love. This transition is a cycle that has been foretold by numerous prophets, including Jesus, the Buddha, and the Mayas, among other prophets. It marks the conclusions of one cycle and the dawn of new beginnings. It's all, as always, a matter of perspective. It truly depends on how you look at it. The world is ending in both ways. You can decide to engage into the negativity, the propaganda, the old systems of control, or realize that this period of transformation is opening up and opening ourselves to abundance, to unity, to love, to creating from a better place. Once more, all of these events were foretold. In Matthew chapter 24, verse 6, we can read, "And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." I want to insist, the end is not yet. Now, it truly depends on where you are on your journey. We've got to be careful and use our spirit of discernment here. But we can still see like the perspective of truth that there were wars and rumors of wars. We have conflict in Ukraine. We have conflict and tensions in Taiwan between the US and China. We had the genocide going on in Palestine committed by Israel. We have even more countries who started to rise up at some point in Eastern Europe. There were countries like Moldova, I think, or tension between Poland, Hungary. We have also countries in Africa who are rejecting colonizations and old belief system. All of these are part of the greater plan, and depending of which path you are on, and only yourself can know, only God knows, everything is going to work out for you. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famine, pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places. That's in Matthew, still chapter 24, verse 7. We saw famine, we saw pestilences, we saw earthquakes in all diverse places. There were earthquakes in Turkey back in 2023, if my memory is good. We had earthquakes in Morocco. We had we had the COVID-19. We had all sort of, system collapsing and revealing to ourselves, revealing to us these systems no longer work anymore. We can further read, still in the same chapter, in the next few verses, "All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake." Right now, people are highly conflicted about religion and especially the idea of God. It's a complex topic that perhaps is not appropriate for the sake of discourse, even though if you are open to it, I would be more than happy to share you more information. So just leave a feedback into the community, and I would be more than happy once again to, I would say, open your perspective on this topic. But as you have noticed, people start to reject religion. People start looking their own ways. People have become more hardened. They reject the idea of God. They do not understand simply why there is so much chaos and there is no intervention. It's because our idea of God is heavily limited and contracted from one perspective. Many people still believe that God is going to come through one man, while God is everything. Now I want to make a link between the 7 trumpets and the 7 chakras that I spoke about before. The 7 trumpets of the apocalypse being sounded serve as a metaphor for the awakening of the kundalini energy, which activates the 7 chakras within the body. Yes, you read that correctly. You heard me right. Let's take a moment to revisit this metaphysical concept. First, what is a Kundalini awakening? A Kundalini activation is an energetic and spiritual process aimed at awakening and circulating the latent life force energy or prana through a person's system. How does it happen? It can be achieved through group initiation, or when an individual takes the initiative to explore and question their inner world. Contrary to popular belief, this process is much simpler than many suggest. It all begins with questioning your beliefs and your perception of reality. Now, do you see and understand why we emphasize and dedicate so much time to the power of beliefs in Module 1? The point here is being about the perception of reality. Now, I want to make a parallel with Jacob's ladder and Kundalini energy. In the book of Genesis, chapter 28, verse 12, Jacob envisioned a ladder that stretched from earth to heaven with angels moving up and down its rungs. Here, the ladder symbolizes the human spine and its energy centers, illustrating the journey from our earthly experience, so connected to the root chakra, to a state of higher consciousness. And the Kundalini energy is a dormant spiritual energy at the base of the spine, so the root chakra. When it is awakened, it rises up the spine by passing through each chakra centers within the body, so the root, the sacral, solar plexus, the heart, throat, and the third eye, until it reaches the crown chakra. This rising of energy is like climbing the rungs, so climbing, the vertebrae, each vertebrae on onto the body, onto the spinal cord. Onto the spinal cord. So this energy is like climbing the rungs of the Jacob's ladder onto the spinal cords, each chakra being a rung, a different level of awareness. So what you may experience or feel during an awakening experience and the rise of this energy. Experiencing warmth, tingling sensation, or a wave of energy coursing along the spine. Enhance intuition, increase clarity, enhance creativity, and having a deeper connection to higher consciousness and higher states of being. Each chakra will be activated, just like the 7 trumpets of the apocalypse and their angels. 7 trumpets, 7 chakras in the body. So the first trumpet. In Revelation chapter 8, verse 7, we can read that the first angel sounded his trumpet, and there come hail and fire mixed with blood, and it was hurled down on the earth. A third of the earth was burned up, a third of the trees were burned up, and all the green grass was burned up. So here it is the activation of the root chakra that was linked to survival mode, as we saw in the previous slides into this course. So it is tied. The root chakra is tied to the physical realm and the external experiences. It is a process through which we eliminate the outdated structures, the illusions, the collective illusions, and the false growth to make way for elevated awareness. Which brings us to the second trumpet. The second angel sounded his trumpet, and something like a huge mountain all ablaze was thrown into the sea. A third of the sea turned into blood, a third of the living creatures in the sea died, and a third of the ships were destroyed. That's from Revelation chapter 8, verse 8 through 9. Now I'm going to make a couple of parallels and connections here to help you expand your perspective. First, emotional and subconscious cleansing are symbolized by water and the collapse of outdated emotional patterns and false beliefs. So everything that you have perceived within yourself, remember, physical reality is a reflection of your inner world. So you might have had a collapse of outdated emotional patterns, false beliefs you had about yourself, about your perceptions, about friends, family, your job, your life situation, a partner, that are coming into light, so you can pay attention to them and start noticing what doesn't resonate with you. So you begin letting go of them. On the physical plane, what we saw, we had many creatures. We are seeing mass extinction events. We had issues with the ships on the sea. We had events where, it was, again, symbolism. I think it was during COVID in the Suez Canal with the Evergreen boat that blocked a lot of boats and caused huge mishaps and accidents of all sorts. And I don't remember, unfortunately, I don't remember which sea turned to blood because of max extinction events, and we had many fish die into different, regions of the earth, which turned the water red. The third trumpet. The third trumpet, as we can read in Revelation chapter 8, verse 10 through 11, the third angel sounded his trumpet, and a great star, blazing like a torch, fell from the sky on a third of the rivers and on the springs of water. The name of the star is Wormwood. A third of the waters turned bitter, and many people died from the waters that had become bitter. Once this angel sounds the third trumpet, so your solar plexus becomes active, your reality and world will shift and perspective will shift to reveal you spiritual truth and recognize the toxic influences and patterns that are in your life that no longer serves you. The bitterness represents the old beliefs, lies, or teachings that must be released at a personal level, but also will be released at the collective level. Now, there is an interesting fact I found after scanning around and trying to connect the dot with the cosmos and how things shifted with the sounding of the third trumpet. I don't know if you've heard about the hazardous asteroids Apophis. It is an asteroid that is predicted that scientists are actually been observing for quite some time, for about 20 years now. I think it was first discovered around 2004 or in the early 2000s. That was predicted to be on a collision course with the Earth. This asteroid represents a danger. It's not going to be on a collision course necessarily unless it goes through a gravity keyhole with a close encounter with the Earth through a gravitational keyhole. What's going to happen is if this asteroid goes through that gravitational keyhole as it passes near the Earth orbit, it's going to modify its trajectory, and then on Easter Sunday of April the 13th, 2036, so 7 years later after that close encounter with the Earth, will be on a collision course. That small keyhole is a small window of about 800 meters by 800 meters that will modify its trajectory once again. So remember, a great star blazing like a torch fell from the sky, and a third of the river on the springs, and a third of the rivers, and on the spring of the water, the name of the star was Wormwood. A third of the waters turned bitter, and many people died from the water that had become bitter. Remember how God speaks in synchronicities. I don't know if you have seen the movie Don't Look Up. That was highly popular during COVID times in 2021. It was a story about two scientists who went on TV to warn the entire population about the potential asteroid that was on a collision course with the Earth. See, I'm trying here to expand your perspective about all the elements that are going to happen on some timeline, on some different realities, to make you realize the signification between the scripture and what's unfolding in physical reality. So the fourth trumpet, the fourth angel sounded his trumpet, and a third of the sun was struck, and a third of the moon, and a third of the stars, so that a third of them were darkened. A third of the day was without light, and also a third of the night. That's from Revelation chapter 8, verse 12. So the illusions and false light of the ego diminish. That's the opening of the heart chakra, the fourth trumpet being the fourth chakra. Awakening takes place as the inner light shines through, free from external distractions. This process is connected to the occurrences of solar and lunar eclipses on the physical plane, where energies are shifting. I don't know if you've noticed or taken notice lately, especially, we had a solar eclipse of 2024 with a total umbra that was about 3 hours and 15 minutes, so roughly 4 hours, which represent coincidentally a third of the day. Yes. So lunar eclipse, and the lunar eclipse in 2025 lasted about 5 hours and 27 minutes. Roughly, that's a big extension there, but it's roughly, around that third of the night. See how everything was told about us. The information is still out there that was being foretold, and physical reality is currently reflecting all of these events. The fifth trumpet. The fifth angel sounded his trumpet, and I saw a star that had fallen from the sky to the earth. The star was given the key to the shaft of the abyss. When he opened the abyss, smoke rose from it, like the smoke from a gigantic furnace. The sun and sky were darkened by the smoke from the abyss, and out of the smoke, locusts came down on the earth and were given power like that of scorpions of the earth. That's from Revelation chapter 9, verse 1 through 3. So we can understand it more subconsciously, where this trumpet allows us to process the subconscious shadows, fears, and repressed patterns to which God wants us to pay attention to. Humanity faces its inner darkness in order to create transformation, to face that darkness, to transmute that energy and bring light. Do you recall the swarm of locusts that devastated crops from India to Eastern Africa, resulting in widespread famine in 2020, right at the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic? I'm going to say pandemic for this now, but do you recall that huge swarm of locusts that absolutely devastated crops around huge area in Eastern Africa and caused famine, pestilences? Do you see the link now? The sixth trumpet. So the opening of the third eye. The sixth angel sounded his trumpet, and I heard a voice coming from the four horns of the golden altar that is before God. It said to the sixth angel who had the trumpet, "Release the four angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates." And the four angels who had been kept ready for this very hour and day and months and year were released to kill a third of mankind. That's from Revelation chapter 9, verse 13 to 15. So karmic or collective patterns are cleared for the sake of purification. It serves as a call to elevate our consciousness prior to potential destruction, representing the essential transformation needed on a grand scale. Everything is being reset. You might have heard about, people who control this world. I'm looking at the World Economic Forum, who spoke about the Great Reset, where they want to reshuffle the economy, the way people spend their money, the way people interact with the world. We have also taken notice and understood that our way of living is destroying the planet. So we need to find renewable energies, living with communities, reshaping and rethinking how we build cities, all of this. Do you remember the tunnel discovered at the bottom of the Euphrates River that linked Babylon to Mesopotamia when that said river dried up during, I think it was 2022. It's dried up due to the unprecedented drought throughout Europe. It was a catastrophic year for Europe. It was extremely dry. I've put the link onto this slide that revealed all that was buried below the water that we couldn't see before, but revealed all the ancient civilizations and all things that we say are biblical and being prophesied. So the drying up of the Euphrates River in 2022, the Euphrates dried up to unprecedented levels. Finally, the seventh trumpet. The seventh angel sounded his trumpet, and there were loud voices in heaven, which said, "The kingdom of the world has become the kingdom of our Lord and of his Messiah, and he will reign forever and ever." And the 24 elders who were seated on the throne before God fell on their faces and worshipped God. That's in Revelation chapter 11, verse 15 to 17. So we reach a state where we have complete revelation of divine sovereignty, the ultimate phase of the spiritual awakening, which is harmonizing human and divine consciousness. You understand the interconnectedness of everything, that we are all one consciousness. That's the resurgence of Christ consciousness, the return of Christ, where every individual will discover their true identity and liberate themselves from any systems of control. You understand that you control your reality. Just like I shared you before and I've been saying before, you are the co-creator of your own reality. Now I want to make an interesting link for you to start to explore and understand. Do you remember before how we said that time was an illusion? The past doesn't exist, you cannot go back to it, and the future is undecided. There's only the present moment that you can experience. What do you think that scriptures tells us about time itself? The 24 elders who bow to worship God. 24 elders, 24 hours in a day. And every moment is dedicated to God. Let's expand a little bit. Let's dig deeper into that question. Maybe you've been in your life, or if you look across different religions, you go to church on Sundays. So on Sundays, on Sunday morning, you get there in a good energy, good emotion. You spend your time in prayer, you feel connected to God, you have a good moment. But once the cult is over, time's over, we go back to our own lives, right? Now, if there is only the present moment and we are being encouraged to spend as much time as possible in the presence of God, and there are 24 hours in a day, and time is an illusion, why do you think for you it means to have the 24 elders seated on their throne before God, fell on their faces and worship God? I want you to take a moment to think about this. I'm going to give you my perspective on it and how I see it. But what do you truly think about it? To me, the 24 elders who were seated on the throne before God represent the ultimate falling of the ego and spending all of our time every 24 hours a day being connected in the presence of God. Hence the 24 elders seated, falling on their knees and worshiping God. You become so self-aware of yourself in that moment to embody God's presence at all times. Hence, this is where time dissolves. This is where time collapses. At the sounding of the seventh trumpet, the crown chakra, the wisdom, the higher state of consciousness, the understanding of who you are. So every single moment being in the present and feeling the presence of God. Now in this next section, I'm going to talk more about the event and the things that are happening on a little bit more concrete level, based on the understanding of the event and the personal experience I've been through. This is something I relate deeply, for example, about the rapture, about my book called Walk Under the Stars, that speaks about my rapture, my experience, and all the information I have received during that time, during that period. So our consciousness is splitting. Remember how I said you are one, you are everything at this point, no need to repeat everything. And you create your own reality, everyone being a reflection of you, right? So this journey will encourage us to explore duality and unity in our awakening, consciousness will be separated into three streams, three major streams, allowing each individual to select one based on their personal preference, as we are blessed with the gift of free will. Not everyone will achieve salvation as foretold once again, not due to divine anger, but because individuals make their own choices regarding their beliefs. Therefore, if one opts to embrace chaos despite having the option to choose peace, then chaos will be indeed manifested in their presence. Remember what we say in the Bible? Ask and you shall receive. You have free will. You can decide to do whatever you want at any moment. And God will deliver that to you. So the three streams of consciousness that we find is the 3D, where chaos, suffering, and nuclear war, yes, are going to happen. This is a stream of consciousness where the new information and the new frequencies cannot be integrated with the state of consciousness of humanity, and unfortunately, humanity will choose to self-destruct. So for all the beings who vibrate lower, who refuse to accept all the information that I've shared to you, this is where they are headed. 4D will be dominated by AI, and we are already seeing these events unfolding in front of our eyes. If you've looked at AI, the way these tech companies like OpenAI, Google, I don't know, it was, I think, from China, there was DeepSeek, there was models in Europe, all over the world, how they are glorifying AI and thinking it is the new God. Because, for some of them at least, because it has so much knowledge, it has been trained on all the knowledge that humanity has acquired so far. But the fundamental of how these models resonate and not resonate, but on how this model think, I'm going to say big quotes there because these models do not think for themselves. They are just text model and predictions with statistical decisions that are highly complex, but they do not think. They're going to be totally dominated and controlled by AI. And it is already the case. Like all the algorithm you see on YouTube, on Google, on TikTok, on all social media, they already control and decide what you want to see, what you want to consume. Instead of you being like the previous generation of search engine, when you search for something, you get what you search based on what you search. Now you have suggestion. We think for you. We think that, oh, you're going to like this topic. You're going to like this content. So we pre-select it to you. So you stop thinking for yourself. And finally, the other string that's going to come up is the 5D string, the new earth, the Christ consciousness, the return of Christ. So all of this three stream, let's begin with the end of the old world, or the 3D. So humanity is on a path towards self-destruction. There is simply no other way to express it. The new frequencies cannot be contained within this frequency of physical reality. Approximately 20 to 25% of humanity remains dormant, tethered to the matrix. Their energy fields are dense, heavy, and sluggish, and they primarily operate from their lower chakras, from the root, from the sacral, and the solar plexus. They exist within a predictable routine and are trapped in survival mode. Just before I move on to the Dreamer's vision, so again, on this stream of consciousness, these are the people who are still tethered. If you've seen the movie The Matrix, I highly encourage you go watch it now. If you haven't, this movie explains really well with a lot of metaphor and connections that are more profound than meets the eye first, of how people are going to defend the old world and the old system. This is especially the case for people who are leaders of the Western world. You see how immediately, once other nations and other beings want to free themselves, they want to maintain the control. So we saw with France trying to maintain control over its old colonies. We saw with what's going on and the dynamic between Russia and the US, between China and the US. It is truly the United States, truly the fall of Babylon. It is truly the fall of Babylon, where this way of being and thinking does not work anymore, and people want other things. Up until that point, up until the really like the early 2000s, I say, or 2010s, the world was following the lead of the United States, of the Western world. It was the dollar was dominant, and they had to, if you wanted, if you wanted to, for example, build a nation, build a whole country, and make trade with other countries and exchange goods and start to expand yourself and have a little bit more of independence, you had to subscribe to the US dollars. You had to subscribe to the vision of the Western world. You had to subscribe to what Washington, D.C., to what Washington and the White House was saying and dictating. And we saw a fall of great leaders, fortunately. So these are the people who are still thinking and being tethered to this way in the 3D. Many of you may have experienced dreams about the apocalypse that was interpreted through various symbols and the unique perspective that you've developed through your own filters. These dreams may have involved themes of wars, the planet exploding, floating around the planet and seeing fires, seeing towers and buildings collapsing, floods of lava, volcanoes erupting, chaos, earthquakes, cataclysm, and great floods. All of these symbols represent signs and messages from your higher consciousness, from God, regarding potential events in either distant realities or your own, the path that you are taking and choosing. However, you do not need to entangle your energy with these visions. You have the power to choose your own experiences. Because always remember this: you are the architect of your reality. In Acts chapter 2, verse 17, and it shall come to pass in the last days, saith God, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see vision, and your old men shall dream dreams. Now, in the transitional band or the fourth density, the majority of humanity would pivot into this band, around 50 to 55%. However, they still experience reality from the perspective of duality between the old ways of doing and the new. They will stay stuck on the wheel of karma between repeating cycles and patterns as they remain not fully aware of themselves. They will believe that AI is the new God or AI is the new ultimate revelation of technologies and there is nothing more to look out for. And they will abandon their spiritual nature. They carry enough frequency to destabilize the old world, demanding changes, but they are not yet masters of their own resonance. So essentially, in that frequency, the information that is being shared, that you can find in many spiritual places about even, once again, religion or in scriptures, these people are going to receive that information, they're going to read the book, but ignore the point. They're not going to be able to understand the information and transmute that energy into their lives so they can create a better reality for themselves. So they will stay stuck in this duality, in this dimension between what is right, what is wrong, what is all happening. I'm not master of this reality. I want change, but I'm not changing myself to change my reality and to transform myself. You see the great conflict that they may endure. So they will stay, unfortunately, on this, in this reality, in this loop, because for your life to change, for your reality to change and transform, you need to change yourself. You never really truly, when we say we shift between realities, you might have encountered this idea for you who have dived deeper into this subject, into a metaphysical subject or metaphysics or into spirituality or hearing teachings. You don't really shift yourself or change yourself and go somewhere else. You change yourself for your entire world to shift. And finally, the embodied band, which is the 5D. These are individuals who have cultivated a harmonious connection among their mind, body, and spirit. They have a deeper understanding of their reality, They emanate their energy rather than seek it. So they cultivate inner peace. They are in more harmonious energy with God. They are beacons of inspiration and leadership. Their energy is self-sustaining, attracting others, and making them resilient against disruptions. So they make. What do we say when we? What do I mean when I say they're resilient against disruptions? Amidst the chaos that is occurring all around us, they don't let the chaos and the physical reality disrupt their own inner peace. They know that they are in control of their inner peace, and that reality is only a reflection of their divine internal state. These individuals play a crucial role in grounding the new earth, uplifting communities, and embodying the new frequency to represent the final 20 to 25% of humanity. I hope now you have a better idea and clearer picture of what is happening, what is going on, and how for yourself you can create a new reality for you to realize your dream and bring peace, the peace that from deep within us we all long for. We don't resonate with all the propaganda that is going on and rolling us towards. Nobody wants to work a 9 to 5, at least perhaps maybe it's your dream, but less people want to engage to a 9 to 5 and want themselves to death, basically. People do not see interest in wars anymore. Like governments and countries have a really hard time to enrolling humans into joining the army because we are all one. We are just fighting against ourselves, and it doesn't make sense then. So now I want to give you ideas to help you reinforce your beliefs so you can truly anchor the information that I've given to you, so you can realize for yourself that your manifestations can truly come true. So the manifestation techniques for reality creation, in order to maintain a state of presence, would be the key to manifestation. Belief and feeling at the root is all you need. All the rest are auto-suggestion techniques to reinforce those beliefs that are within you, buried deep within your subconscious mind. First, you want to set clear intentions. Setting a focused intention is primordial to directing your energy. It's your moral compass. Set the coordinate towards the reality you want to bring. Without a clear vision of what you want, where you want to go, God cannot shift the world to you. It's like sailing on a ship during the day with a compass that goes like this, constantly going into circle while you're trying to maintain a direction. You're trying to bring, the things you want to bring, the people you want to bring with you in a set course. But if the compass is always spinning around, you don't know where you're going. You don't know if you need to know, I don't know, if you need to go east or to go west for some reason, because you know that's where you need to go. If the compass is always going in circle, you don't know where to go. Next, you're going to want to visualize it. This goes beyond merely depending on images. It's about perception, seeing with your third eye rather than physical eyes, because this is the unseen world we are speaking about. The reality that you want for yourself exists. It hasn't manifested yet because you are not resonating on that frequency to attract that reality yet. So you must look beyond the tangible world to access what already exists in the unseen world in the quantum field. And finally, you need to align emotionally with it. Cultivate this feeling. Translate it into emotion. Tears, tingle, joy, itchiness, pain. See how feelings arise into the body. See how you feel aligned with actions that you need to take to bring that reality. What I like to do and picture for myself is as if I was set on a course on a map. I see this ideal reality where I have everything I desire: the community, the family, the abundance, everything, the openness, everything I picture for myself. I set the course. And how do I set the course and know that I am on the course? I tune in into the body. My body is the compass. So I maintain a full state of presence. I breathe better and more aligned. I destructed and deconstructed my limiting beliefs and identified them and said to me, I can perfectly achieve them. There are no limits. And I set the course. I just navigate. I just know it will happen. I visualize myself going on this vision. I'm going to share this actually. I feel compelled to share this. I feel it's like feeling like you're on a train and you're able to board that train, and that train is going to take you there. On the left, on the right, you see all the chaos, all the nonsense that is all happening, that is happening for a reason but doesn't resonate with me, and all the darkness that I can see sometimes where some events are occurring into the world. But I know that on the way I'm setting myself and setting my course into, I will reach the desired reality. So all of these feelings, the joy, the itchiness, etc., are the signs from your subconscious mind directly speaking to yourself. Tuning into the right frequency is how you will know when you are fully connected and aligned with it. Everyone is going at their own pace. Do not judge anyone. Remember, if you are judging anyone else, you are actually judging yourself, because what's in that other person is actually a reflection of you. So you have to become absolutely and really self-aware of why you feel that way, of why you express that way. You have to put intention now. You become more one with everything and you cultivate that inner peace to take the aligned action of what feels right in the moment. That's truly how the manifestation is going to manifest itself in your life. And I've made this mistake in the past as well. I thought I had to just meditate all day only. I thought I just, had to, okay, I made this desire, I've expressed this desire. I need to have this technique. I need to have this specific ritual. I need to do this and that. What truly sets the shifting of reality is you taking action. So this is going to lead me to share a word on those other techniques and how it can help you, but make sure that you do not get stuck on another illusion that you can create for yourself. For example, tarot readings, mediums, and the other technique I've mentioned can assist you in finding guidance and direction. However, as I've said before, some individuals may become trapped by relying solely on external sources rather than trusting their internal intuition, the whispers of the soul. So a personal example of mine was with tarot, as it played a significant role early on in my journey. When I consulted tarot reading, I was heavily relying on them. I believe everything suggested would inevitably happen, but it's important to recognize that these are merely suggestions. Recall the decision tree we discussed earlier. It illustrates the realm of possibilities for your life. These readings offer insights into what might be possible, but they do not dictate your actions. While you have the potential to act, it doesn't guarantee that you will seize the opportunity. It's just your moral compass in the mirror. This is where confusion often arises. Many times I've saw people assert, oh, this is going to happen. But remember, you must take action for any possibility to materialize. I saw the same thing on the opposite of the spectrum. Oh, this was supposed to happen, but it didn't happen. It might be because you missed the door, you missed the step that you were supposed to take that would be possible for you to realize what the tarot reading was showing you. Ultimately, the whole point of this journey is to rely on yourself and your intuition. Trust yourself, know yourself, and you will know and see how God speaks to you. There was I didn't include, but I think it would have been a good opportunity to include that. I think it was a passage in the Bible. I don't remember which chapter. My mistake. I'm going to quote that later. But it was about testing the spirits. Remember, everything is God. God can manifest and work in mysterious ways. You know that. But you can manifest the consciousness of God, the presence of God at any moment in your reality. So if you want to check on with yourself and feel in tune, you can test around the spirit, so other people, and see if what they say in the moment truly resonate with you and reveal something about you so you can better navigate the space. Because often when we say that you need to make room to allow the new things in your life you want in your reality, it's about purging the old things, removing the limiting beliefs, removing the old perceptions about yourself and others that are not serving you. Finally, as a bonus, I want to include the great teachings from Neville Goddard for conscious creations. It helped me a lot early on my journey towards awakening. And exploring key methods to manifest desires through focus intent. I'm going to include a link, of course, with these slides from Neville Goddard teaching. He speaks mostly about 3 techniques that I shared already with you, which is scripting your reality, so writing detailed scenarios on paper. That's often more better. That helps you make more connections. To visualize your desire deeply and effectively. Have a mental imagery using vivid mental pictures to activate your feelings and align with your goals, with vision boards, for example. And feeling being the secret, which is to cultivate the emotional resonance of your desires to manifest them in reality through meditation. And that's everything from this module now. I hope that you have a clearer picture and a better picture about everything and all the information we've uncovered to help you create a conscious life. And I will see you in the next module.